welcome. Good morning. Good morning.
Oh,
Okay.
Welcome to the Interfaith Peace Festival. We're honored to have all of you here today. As we reflect into all our different beliefs, there's one word that seems to reside at the root of that foundation. And that foundation is love. In that, we are here today because we want the best for each other. We want the best for our community. Our practice that is universal is to bring joy to our brothers and sisters. And as you walk through this ceremony today, you might just look at them with the eyes of love, the eyes of compassion, and the eyes of joy. How I may bring joy to myself and others today. People will come here today because they need a refuge, but you are the refuge. You are the person who can offer peace and love to every person that joins in this ceremony today. So I'm honored to be here with you today. May your steps bring peace and joy to everyone.
I offer this prayer of peace, not to any one God, nor to many gods, and not even to the indigenous gods of many nations, but to the divinity within that we all hold inside that makes us all brothers and sisters, one true family in the name of humanity. I offer this prayer of peace to the cosmic oneness that is our birthright, our privilege, and our strength, that should we let it shine and show us the way, will guide us to the road of peace, to allow us to truly fulfill our divine nature of becoming the children of one united humanity. I offer this prayer of peace to allow us all to realize the truth of our existence, to allow us each to discover the sanctity of our lives and the lives of others, to allow us to seek the spirituality of our beings and the beings of our neighbors. I offer this prayer of peace to declare a revolution of the human spirit. I wish to announce it is now time for each of us to spiritually awaken. The time of the enlightened few is over. We must become the enlightened ones. We must all recognize our oneness, raise up our consciousness, proclaim our interdependence on one another. I declare that we must all become earthlings of the earth, not of any one religion, nation, or race, but by this earth, for this earth, of this earth, to create a lasting peace on earth. I offer this prayer of peace.
I thought we would open up with a very interesting question, which usually isn't discussed when panels get together, and I think it's because we like to speak about theoretical principles a lot. But I'm going to ask each of these panelists a very specific question: is how do the spiritual principles of their own faith tradition translate into very, very specific guidance for improving our first personal character, to become exemplary in personal character, and then family life, and then community life, which then extends to city, country, and then the world.
Islam provides a lot of guidance on this principle. Throughout the Quran, you'll hear about guidance that basically reflects that if you want to be a good Muslim, you have to be a good person first. And then that expands, not just to your parents, but to your siblings, to your neighbors. And so these things, yeah, they're theoretical, but what they're telling us is our expectation that God, through His messengers, has put upon us, is that we have to take care of others. And then that age-old question, what's the purpose of life? In Islam, it boils down to two things. Worship the one Creator and take care of His creation. And creation is Mother Earth, it's animals, it's human beings, it's relationships, it's kindred, it's neighbors, it's orphans, it's a wayfarer, it's strangers. And so practically what I'm expected to do is be charitable with my time, with the way I approach people. In Islam, it says even a smile can be charity. And so it's just the way I approach the people has to be with humility, with respect, and with always trying to take care of their needs.
When we accept the Baha'i faith, we accept a role in fulfilling a covenant to unify mankind. And so from the time we're little children, we're taught things like if a thought of war comes, replace it with a stronger thought of peace. So each individual, their primary relationship is with God, and we have respect for the rights of each other. And the central value is unity. And so when we have differences of opinion, we learn to consult. For the sake of unity, we listen to each other, we have respect for each other's opinions. We seek the truth, not seeking always to be right ourselves, but to together find the truth.
The biggest thing that we have a belief in is direct practice. We believe that we were here by choice, or we are here by choice, that we are the creators and the observers of our world. We come here to express unconditional love. And this goes back to Jesus' teaching that you must love your neighbor as yourself. And we really have to start with the end of that, don't we? We can't understand loving our neighbor until we love ourselves. And that's our personal commitment to direct practice, is being gentle and loving with ourselves. And then we can be gentle and loving with our families, and then we can be gentle and loving with our communities, and then we can be gentle and loving with our world.
We acknowledge that the center of our lives is the divine, and to see the divine in all is the path of a true seeker. I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors as you on yours, and the cause and the effect of their existence has produced our existence. And we have a divine obligation to serve our souls and the future of all those who are waiting to take birth. So I agree and accept all teachings of all traditions and all beliefs, known and unknown. But there are millions of unknown traditions. And there are people who won't profess anything, yet they live their lives with dignity, nobility, courage, and service to all of creation.
We all know that peace is complex. It involves so many dynamics. Because when we come to peace, we have different parties in the equation. To find peace in our individual lives as well as our collective lives, we must rise above the self-serving, self-seeking interests that we bring to the table or to the relationships in which we engage. And the heart of it is in terms of words like reconciliation, forgiveness, things that will challenge each one of us think of those words in terms of the relationships that are disordered, that are broken, where the wounds are, and that everybody's called to become forgivers. Then the circle gets smaller, because few want to take that step. We're going to be called upon, wherever we are as individuals and as groups, to rise above the stuff that will keep us from the peace we're seeking. To give it all up. To give it all up. All the self that wants it all for itself. But the higher peace that we're all looking for is going to command and exact a great price from us. That's what I believe the global spirit is calling us toward.
We come together to be reminded by all of our traditions how we all have those qualities of awakening, like all the main teachers of all the different traditions have taught us to wake up. You practice 4 C's, 4 qualities. The first quality is loving kindness. Loving kindness is wanting the best for everyone. The second quality is you practice compassion. We practice compassion. Being there with each other when somebody is suffering. The third is joy. Another sign of love is how can we bring joy to each person we meet. And the fourth is equanimity, being a refuge for others. Underlying also all of our principles, I believe, is to be awake. But simply it means, am I awake in this moment to my brothers, to my sisters, to the suffering that goes on in the world, within myself? How can I wake up? And so if I would have to say, what is the best medicine for today's world? I would say, if from the Buddha's time, if we could be mindful of each other, mindful of our brothers and sisters, then we could understand them, then we could truly love.
Last year, on September 11th of 2010, we had the privilege of hosting a very large interfaith gathering at our mosque in Southwest Portland. And we had 12 speakers, interfaith, so from various communities. Reverend Kyogen Carlson, he's from the Buddhist temple, and he led us in an extraordinary practice. So obviously he had abbreviated, but it was a meditation. Always close your eyes. But he got us to a point of peace, contentment, and happiness with our eyes closed. And he said, just let that reverberate all throughout yourself. Then after a few moments of feeling that sense of happiness and warmth, he said, now extend that to somebody who you love. In your mind, extend that to somebody. And we all did that and kind of felt this happiness and smiling around the room. He said, now extend it to somebody you hate. Somebody who's upset you, who's hurt you, who's betrayed you. And you kind of sense this friction. Because it's not easy. It's that struggle to get to that higher level of awareness of connection.
Part of the self-discipline of Baha'i life involves bringing ourselves to account each day, and then little by little, day after day, trying to do better. And it's just a continuing process, day by day, all life long.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, panelists.